But let's bring in Angelo Zino, senior analyst at CFRA Research. Angelo, it's great to have you on. We had better than expected iPhone revenue. We had a boosted dividend. We had a $100 billion stock buyback authorization. But we did get some services softness. Your thoughts on the print, and what are you watching for the call?
Yeah, I thought the print was pretty solid. There's not much you can really complain about. I mean, the services, you're right, it was a tad shy, but for the most part, it was in line. I think, the top line was slightly above expectations. I think where you saw some strength was actually in the Americas, grew about 8% year over year. I think that was the strongest growth rate we saw in the Americas since the September quarter of 2022. But it also went up against some easy comps on that side of things. To me, I think the biggest head scratcher, at least from the press release, was actually the buyback. You kind of look at the company ever since they've started doing buybacks back in 2012. Typically, they either increase versus the prior year or kind of hold it in line. This, to take a $10 billion step back versus the prior year, I think is really kind of un-Apple-like. So it'll be interesting to kind of see if they talk anything about, greater investments or what have you on the call. But, definitely going to want to hear about that.
Angela, how much does channel inventory matter? Last quarter, there was a drawdown in China inventory in the channel there, and they attributed some of the shortfall to that. And then we've had all these tariff issues since, and talk about shipping handsets from here to there. It makes me wonder about inventory impact and how much muddiness there might be in just these top-line numbers.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's, it'll be interesting to kind of see what they have to say about the channel inventory. And, clearly there's probably some stockpiling going on here in the U.S. You would think that would be the case to an extent. I mean, there's essentially no tariffs in place right now for Apple outside of that 20% fentanyl-related tariff from China. And, of course, we've got the pending 232 semiconductor investigation that's ongoing, and they're probably, they're going to be thrown into that mix. So, it's going to be interesting to kind of see how it all plays out. But, yeah, it's going to be a little bit messy here over the next couple of months.